All right, today we are ranking the Transformers Generations Combiners with their upgrade kits, which means I will only be upgrading my favorite combiners with their add-ons, third-party upgrade kits. We're going to do this top 8 style. In this ranking, King Poseidon unfortunately is not included since I still don't have the set. I am waiting for a complete set, for a store to sell all the pieces together for a less than ridiculous price. And I don't think there is an upgrade yet available for King Poseidon right now, so he's out of the picture. I'll probably do another ranking when I do review that figure. Also, the female combiners of X Megatronia and Victorion. I wasn't really a big fan of that particular mold. I thought the idea was great, but unfortunately, those two did not make this list. Galvatronus. I never really liked that combiner. As a combiner, I loved the pieces individually, but as a combiner, they weren't really working for me. So, let's get this ranking started. In at number 8 is Abominus, the Terrorcons. I mean, on paper, this thing should really hit it out of the ballpark. I mean, everything about it seems to be right, correct, but execution-wise, my biggest issue about this is balance issues, flimsiness. I mean, it took 2 different upgrade kits just to make him look presentable. I mean stability wise, the thing won't stand even if you put him in any pose. That's why I can't even get him in a decent pose. That's why he's just doing this sort of plain vanilla chilling pose, because the moment you just feels like he's going to lose it. Number 8. And at number 7, we have Defensor, the Protectobots. Well, you know, I love how this thing turned out. Good combination. Rescue bots, you know, Protectobots, rescue vehicles doing their thing. This is like the medic of the combiners. But when I was a kid, you know, Defensor was really not my favorite combiner. I felt when I was a kid he was the most boring combiner ever. So a lot of bias going into this ranking, but I think he turned out great. All in all, as an execution, my biggest gripe about this particular combiner is I think Hasbro made a significant mistake with the hips of this particular mold for Hotspot. I mean, they should have tweaked it a little bit more, maybe shaved off a few here and there, kind of made it a little bit more stable in my opinion. I think the hips really brought it down for this particular mold, but all in all, still a very solid combiner, and he is Defensor, number 7. And in at number 6, we have Menasor, the Stunticons. I've always loved the Stunticons when I was growing up as a kid, and I thought the original G1 toys were kind of disappointing. And despite what everyone's been saying about the Hasbro mold that they used for this one, I honestly think it's a decent attempt at Menasor. Now, with the upgrade kits, it is 1,000 times better looking than what Hasbro envisioned it, and I actually like it. My biggest issue with this one is really, again, stability. The hips look great, but it's just a little bit too loose that it cannot support the entire weight of the Gestalt, and playability is really being rendered to nil with this one. It looks great when you can pose it and balance it evenly at a certain pose, but that's just it. It's a great display piece, but not really as playable as you thought it would be. So number 6, Menasor. Coming in at the top 5 spot, we have Superion and the Aerial Bots. Now this was a very, very solid combiner in my opinion. He kind of felt gangly, skinny at times, but the upgrade kit really completed the look on this particular combiner, and I'm naturally enjoying Superion for the first time. The G1 toys were okay. We had Silverbolt, we had a couple of Aerial Bots. They were just so okay, but now with this updated look, I think Hasbro nailed it with this one. There's really not a lot more you can ask for with the Superion combiner. And again, a very, very solid combiner. Lots of playability. He's very stable. There's not a lot more you can ask from this combiner. At number 5, Superion. And at number 4, we've got Bruticus and the Combaticons. I love Bruticus. He's always been one of my top combiners out there, but he didn't make the top spot for this ranking simply because this whole hip area that they use for the hotspot and onslaught mode is just really not doing wonders for the combined mode. I wish Hasbro found a way to tweak that, but as it is, he looks great. The upgrade kits really brought out all the great aesthetics and silhouette for this whole combiner. I'm really loving it. Plus, we've got Shockwave as his main weapon. There's really not more you can ask for an amazing Bruticus combiner. And number 4, Bruticus. And at number 3, we have Computron by the Technobots. Now, this was really a surprise for me. I didn't really believe I was going to love this figure as much as I do right now. The upgrade kits were a big help. Really solidified the figure. I mean, they've got the Superion mid-torso retool and redeco. I mean, I didn't think it was going to work, but it did. It worked wonderfully. It's a very, very solid combiner. Lots of playability. I mean, I really love this combination. I mean, I never experienced Computron in G1. I never had the toy or anything like that. And to have it for the first time in its modern adaptation, I absolutely love it. I think even without the upgrades, I think Hasbro kind of crushed this one. Sure, it needs a bit of tweaking here and there, but the upgrades really, again, made this one 1,000 times better than how Hasbro envisioned it. So I really love this one. At number 3, we have Computron. And at number 2, for the silver prize, we have the mighty Devastator, the Constructicons. I mean, he was a close second because my all-time favorite combiner has always been the Constructicons. Back in G1, it was the very first combiner they revealed in the G1 cartoon. I've always fallen in love with this particular combiner. Yeah, the G1 toy was a little bit disappointing, but this updated version, oh my goodness, I am all over this one. This was an absolute gem by Hasbro, and the upgrade kits, wow, it really helped this particular combiner. Biggest gripe for this one is the lack of articulation for the lower limbs or the legs, particularly the lack of the ankle rockers. That would have made some excellent poses, but as it is still one of the best combiners done from the Generations line. I really like this. At number 2, Devastator. And finally, at number 1, we have Predaking and the Predacons. Now, this was probably a very controversial ranking and decision to put him at number 1, but I honestly think this is a very solid Hasbro product. I know a lot of people still want the Ares better. They want the Jin Bao, the BMB version. I mean, sure, a lot of third parties might have made a better product than this one, but with the upgrade kit on this Hasbro mold, I think this is one of the best Predakings made ever. In this whole line of G1 inspired modern take Generations Transformers. I absolutely love this combiner. Now, you know, given that the Constructicons and Devastator has always been my number 1 combiners of all time, for this Generations lineup, I think this one takes the cake. It's just massive, very, very stable, a very solid figure, and you can still play with it. I absolutely love this combiner. So for that, Predaking gets the gold number 1 top spot for this ranking. So there you go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this ranking I've done for my favorite combiners in the Generations lineup for Transformers. Let me know in the comment section what you think of my ranking and if you have your own set of rankings. As always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time on this channel, please subscribe. These are the Transformers Generations Combiners ranked. Thanks for watching.